Kenya has signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the National Basketball Association of the United States, where the NBA will facilitate talent and infrastructure development in Kenya. The deal was signed by the NBA CEO and Sports CS Ababu Namwamba. KBF President Agal Otuma has confirmed the NBA will set up an office in Kenya to facilitate the same.
We received great news today that the government has signed a contract with the NBA. It's going to be big for Kenya, big for this region, and even bigger for Zone 5. Actually, NBA has done so much for the so-called Francophone countries. This is the first time that they are setting base in an Anglophone country. It means a lot to us.
Basketball fans, welcome back. So Kenya signed an MOU with the NBA on the development of basketball in Kenya. So this report came out on Friday. Didn't get a chance to react to it, but in this video I'll just be unpacking every single detail, and also I'll touch on the FIBA 3x3 in Poland. That one, there's some recent developments on that. And before we start, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you can get notified on the videos we make here. And yeah, man, let's get into it. So
now, a world-class arena is set to be built in Kenya after the government signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the National Basketball Association, that's the NBA, at their headquarters in New York in the United States of America. The deal, which seeks to grow and develop the sport through building of infrastructure and talent development, was signed by Sports CS Ababu Namwamba on behalf of the Kenyan government, with the NBA Africa CEO Victor Williams signing on behalf of the NBA. Present at the negotiation and deal signing was His Excellency President William Ruto and Toronto Raptors President Masai Ujiri. The deal is set to spur the growth and development of basketball through talent development in schools and grassroots under the Talanta Hela initiative, which with teachers being trained to be certified basketball coaches and scouts.
the definition of an MOU. So a Memorandum of Understanding is a document describing the broad outlines of an arrangement or agreement that two or more parties are involved. So this is not like a contract set in stone. It can change over time. So that's one thing that I just want to get out of the way. So the MOU that Kenya signed with the NBA, the first point I saw was school and community-based grassroots talent development under the Talanta Hela initiative, including training of teachers as certified basketball coaches and scouts. So that's one point I saw there. Then I saw like the development of basketball infrastructure. I'm not sure which land they're going to use, but moving on, including basketball courts in schools, communities, and neighborhoods, and an elite arena for hosting top-level competitions. And also, the NBA is going to open an office in Nairobi this November to coordinate all activities under the Memorandum of Understanding. So this is such a great initiative. I'm not sure it's going to get the land to like build like, you know, that state-of-the-art arena, like, you know, the BK arena. That's one thing that I'm just waiting on. And looking at the way KBF have been moving, you know, like the ridiculous scandals I've been having like through and through, I'm not sure, I'm not that confident if you can give them like this sort of responsibility, because as much as they were not there, I didn't see any KBF official at that time the MOU is being signed. I only saw the president, the cabinet secretary, and the Nairobi governor. I only saw them there. Those are the only Kenyans that were there. Then the others, I saw Masai Ujiri there, I saw Mark Stein there, and also saw Luol Deng there. So that was actually a good thing to see. And looking at the way the Kenya Basketball Federation have been moving, as much as we want to say Kenya have signed that MOU with the NBA, you have to understand that in basketball, KBF runs and coordinates the basketball scene in Kenya. So in any contract that's going to be signed with reference to basketball, KBF have to be involved. And that is actually pretty sad, because as in recent times you've seen how KBF have been very, very incompetent with their rogue leadership, and they're outright, like, you know, the things that they have been doing there, they're just beyond comprehension and understanding. The violation of court orders, the league is in shambles, but the silver lining is they were able to sign that MOU. But for some reason, I feel like this thing is much more political, because you've seen, even in football, you saw Ababu, he brought in, he made sure the banners were lifted from FIFA. You can see he's making strides in basketball. He's trying to seem like he's making strides, but if this thing is not actualized, I'm not sure. Even if the office is established, I'm not that confident if KBF are going to be running on the scene. I'm not sure if we're going to yield anything substantial if we have the current leadership, because the current leadership has just been poor. I know the NBA want to reach out to our market, but the people who are heading those offices are just going to be the bottleneck of anything that's going to go down there. So as much as this is such a good thing, I was so happy. I was so elated when I heard this news. I just took a step back just to look at what is really going on, especially behind the scenes, something that mainstream media will not tell you, because they'll just release a piece that's just talking about it, just 1 minute, just saying that they have signed the MOU, that's it. But if you try to take that and put it in full context and look at what KBF have been doing, what they have been doing throughout the times they've been there, look at the statement that they came out with saying that they don't have money to support the team Nyati to go to Poland. But with this weekend, as per recording of this video, things have changed because they have been pulled. I've seen the men's team has been pulled in Pool C and the women's team in Pool A, which is going to happen in 2 days, in September 27th. So I'm actually going to cover that in especially later, much later in this video. But talking about this MOU, I'm not sure what plans that KBF have, especially when it comes to making sure that whatever the NBA intend to implement is going to happen, because this is mostly political. You're seeing the president is involved, the governor is involved. I don't know where they're going to get the land, because Nairobi, getting land is hectic. There's so much infrastructure and there's so much theft, especially. You can't get a good space. I know it has to be somewhere central, it has to be somewhere accessible. That's why we have been using Nyayo so much, because it's centrally located. The problem with Nyayo is too small and you can't expand it beyond what it is, and it has been like that for decades. So one thing that I'm looking forward to seeing is what moves are KBF going to make, because I'll just be looking at this thing closely, and I'll also just chime in, give my 2 cents. All in all, I'm very happy about this. Just to reiterate, I have nothing against KBF, but the leadership in KBF is so questionable. Giving them this responsibility of doing that, they might botch it. We saw what they did with the time we saw Madgot coming in. I'm not saying Madgot and NBA are on the same level, but you can see when an outside force comes in, they have a tendency to chase them away, like the same way they did DSTV when they were casting the games. So all I must say is we just have to wait and see what's gonna happen. But looking at the FIBA 3x3 in Poland, so it's set to kick off 27 September, and the director of the Ministry of Sports came out with a statement saying that they are under financial constraints, saying that they can't be able to set up to be able to go there. And I was just waiting to see if this thing can develop. I was thinking of making a video immediately, but I just gave it some time so I can be able to analyze it holistically. Then when I was just writing this script, I saw the NBA, the MOU with Kenya and the NBA was there. So I just held back a bit, but given the recent developments, looks like they are going there. And as per the making of this video, Kenya, the men have been pulled in Pool C, facing Germany, Israel, Qatar, and Tunisia. The women are in Pool A, facing China, USA, the Netherlands, and Austria. So I'm pretty excited to see that, because in this channel we've seen over recent times, especially with a 3x3 going on, we make sure to cover it extensively and we don't even miss any single game. So looking at the way the MOU is panning out, you're seeing the NBA have an intent of making sure basketball has been improved in the country. The ball is on KBF's side, given the leadership that they have, given the way they have been moving haphazardly and not looking at even like how to be able to like do things in the right way, if one mistake happens, the NBA can cut off all ties completely. The potential of Kenyan basketball is there. It's just that it's so raw and needs a lot of refinement. I've been looking at some highlights. I've been looking at some of the games that we've had internationally and also locally. But if you look at skill-wise and the technicality in how to win games, still have a long way to go. Hopefully, this NBA initiative and the MOU, they're able to look forward to it and look at the way that they can monetize it. Not even monetize it, but create like a way that Kenyan basketball players, the fraternity, can also learn and benefit from it. That way you can see its full impact. But right now it's just an MOU. It's not a signed contract. It's not like the contract that Fawaba signed with the BAL, a 5-year deal. It's not set in stone like that. Anything can change. So this is a big win, but it's just one step into the right direction. The NBA, they are very good at scouting. So they just look at how these people respond to it. They'll come and audit our structures. They'll audit the people who are there. And given the way they take care about branding, they don't want to be labeled as corrupt, especially when you're having corrupt officials in the federation botching things. So their integrity is being put to question. I've been putting them to question a lot. I don't think that KBF officials have any integrity, any ounce of integrity to be able to manage anything, because given the way they don't know how to manage the league, they can't even regulate transfers in players, and they have to crack the whip, which I'm going to talk about in the next video. The KBF have a long way to go, and right now they're just on the hot seat. They're just coming off the league being suspended. They didn't kick off the date that they intended to start because there was so much controversy in how they set up the AGM. There was some corruption that happened, made like an injunction notice being put there. It was lifted due to some selfish vested interest that some people have. Some impunity just kept prevailing. So in this time, it's just going to be the same thing. We're just going to see and observe how they're able to coordinate league activities and this NBA initiative, if it goes through. Keyword if, because the NBA can pull out any time. They're not going to beg Kenya, because Kenya is not in the basketball ecosystem like that. So I'm just waiting to see that. And there's this thing that I saw. They didn't even refer to KBF, especially when the MOU was being signed. I just saw Kenya and the NBA sign an MOU. They don't say KBF there. So I feel like the Kenyan government have lost their trust and respect of the integrity of the Kenya Basketball Federation officials, and they just don't look like they are confident enough. Even I saw an interview where the president of KBF was talking, and you can just see how shook he sounded. It's not somebody that looks confident, because I saw in the way he was responding and the way the allegations were just mounted. Yours truly, I was making sure to drop the receipts where every time things happened. So you're seeing they're being put in the hotspot, and how they react will dictate their legacy. And you also saw the Nandi Senator Samson Cherargei come and give his comments saying that the federation must be disbanded. We just have to wait and see about that. So it is something great that the NBA have just landed here. They will have landed in multiple destinations. They may have gone to Rwanda because they have a nice venue, but looking at the way Kenya is technologically, we're good. But when it comes to basketball, we're just trying. The main sport that runs Kenya right now is athletics, and looking at the way the basketball ecosystem is, we're seeing an opportunity, and there's a fan base that can be tapped in there. So hopefully we can be able to improve our talent through this opportunity. So that's one thing I'm looking forward to. So yeah, man, if you guys like the video, please leave your feedback down in the comment section. I will be coming and just dropping some few gems along the way when things unfold. Yeah, man, I'm out. Peace.